We're broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios. Visit MTE.com. Middle Tennessee Electric, serving to make life better since 1936.
Since 1936.
This is a WGNS Action Line. Now your host, Scott Walker.
And now in studio with us this morning, we have Logan Hickerson and Judy Heim to talk about the upcoming Art Studio Tour, which is the weekend before Thanksgiving. Starting out this morning, tell us a little bit more about the tour. And I know it's been going on for a number of years now.
We appreciate you having us in here to talk about this. The Art Studio Tour has been going on for over 30 years. This is the 32nd year. And the whole purpose is to help people in the area recognize the artists in our area and see us in our natural environment rather than at a gallery or at a craft fair. You see what we work with, where we work, and how we do our product. We love that. And we have guest artists at our studio as well. Those guest artists bring their product, and we love to have them demonstrate or discuss those things as well. It's basically 3 days to tour around the Rutherford County area. We go into a little of the outside area, outside counties around us, and see what's here. Shop if you want to. We love that, but we primarily love to talk about our products.
And this is a great time of the year to do Christmas shopping as well, at different art studios and everything. But the artists, it's neat to be able to walk in to the actual studio to see some of them at work and what they do, kind of personal one-on-one. And you could even talk to the artists about doing, I guess, special pieces for you.
Exactly, you can. Some of these artists also give classes. I don't. But some people do, or we know places where you can have classes if you're interested in this. But I want to repeat, coming to the studio to see where the work is done. I make pottery. I have pottery wheels. I have kilns. I can show how things are done. You can actually touch the clay. Ooh, kids like that.
I bet.
It's not just let's go someplace and paint pottery.
Yeah.
And people don't realize how much is involved. They always want to know, well, how long does it take to make a cup? I can't really tell you that because it's this part, and then I do this part, and then I do this part. Again, we like having people see our space and maybe get inspired to try it themselves.
Yeah. And again, you do pottery, and then Logan Hickerson with us as well. You work with wood a lot.
I work with wood a lot, but I also work with several other things, but no pottery.
This isn't something you've done for a living, Logan. You are into architecture and things along those lines.
I'm a civil engineer, and so I've done a lot of work here in Murfreesboro and a lot of work in Nashville, and then a lot of work in places outside the state. That was my first coming. Well, one of the things that I want to make sure people understand is this is a 3-day event. The Art Studio Tour goes from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 21st, 22nd, 23rd of the month. And one other thing, the best pickings are to be early, and I'll say often. We have some people that will be there for each of the 3 days. They want to see who's coming and what are they doing, what are they looking at, and how are they operating with it. It's just a lot of fun for people to spend some time.
November 21st, the 22nd, and 23rd as well.
But we try to have a lot of fun. We have a large number of people that will be coming in and going through, and we always enjoy this. These 3 days are a lot of fun. We meet a lot of new people, a lot of people who come to do their Christmas shopping, and that's one of the most wonderful things that we can do is have something new and exciting for people. We expect to have a good routing. We have a lot of things to sell this year, and we hope it goes into next year too.
Working with your hands, I mean, art of all kinds, it's very enjoyable. I mean, it's something that I could envision a lot of people really enjoy doing.
There are a lot of old-time carvers that just sit and do it, even if they're never going to use the piece of work that they're whittling on. And over the years, I've collected a lot of tools, and some of these were my father's, and some of these are other people that I know. And I got a lot of stuff hanging on the wall. And I think between now and next year, we're going to invite people to come in and buy things if they have an interest in what I'm doing.
And looking at all those tools that you've collected and that equipment, what great conversations you can have about how they're used and where they come from. Those are great things for you to have, opportunities for those conversations.
Well, thank you. It's a real joy to take this opportunity to show off a little bit. My father was, sometimes I didn't quite understand that he was trying to teach me something, but I've learned a lot from him, and then I've gone quite a bit further than he ever dared to go at that time.
I think a lot of us don't realize the lessons we're being taught as we're younger until we're much older, for sure. Judy, going back to you for a second here, what is it like working with pottery? I mean, for those who've never tried it.
Well, one of the advantages of pottery as opposed to wood, for example, is if you mess up with pottery, you can smash it back together and start over again.
Logan doesn't have that. Can't do that with wood.
I smack it. I can smack my stuff up too.
The tactile, just physically mastering the shape in your mind, making it come out after you've tried about 100 times, and creating something that somebody enjoys looking at and using. Most of my pottery is useful. So it's nice to say, oh, this is my favorite coffee mug. The handle fits my hand. I really like this. But I want to also emphasize there's not just pottery in this studio tour. We have Logan with his wood. We have several artists that work with fiber. I have one that works with dyed silk and wool. She dyes her own and with interesting designs. We have weavers. We have a woman who does felting, makes gorgeous hats. The weaver and the felter also do spinning to take their fibers. And these people love talking about their work. Another woman makes soaps from natural ingredients, the kind that you go and you see in Kroger on a big display and it's so fancy. This lady makes them. We have jewelers and we have several painters, several types of painting, watercolor, acrylics, oils. All these different artists are available. We have 19 artists at 6 studios, ranging all the way from the Las Casas area down to Bell Buckle.
It's always interesting to go to these different studios because the variety, it's pretty extensive. I remember one year you had somebody who worked with iron and metal and made everything from fences to fence posts. I mean, just unique things and things you're not going to find at just a regular store.
Exactly. And people will come and look at our work and they want, oh, I've sold a set of dinnerware. I want them all exactly the same. I said, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry. They're going to all be a little different. And I hope that's the beauty of them.
That's what I would prefer. It seems like that would be the natural thought. You know, I want something that looks different, that stands out. And, you know, when you talk about all these different things we're talking about here, these are treasures that when people purchase, invest in, they can pass them down from generation to generation for years to come.
We hope that. We hope that's the attachment, and your children will say, oh, I want that that's been hanging on the wall forever. Yeah. I want that in my home.
It's neat how many different artists. I mean, once you really look at it, there's a lot of artists here in Rutherford County. There's a lot. But the art studios, the idea of being able to visit the studio, talk with the artist, see them do what they do, that's a really neat thing. It's an opportunity that you don't get in a lot of big cities.
Right. And we're a little limited as to the studios that are available for this because it takes a big space to be able to have a demonstration area, a display area, and have other guests join you. So you'll notice we have 2 potters, and there's a third one that was unable to do it this year, and we have a woodworker who has a giant space. It's really hard for a jeweler to have a studio tour because they have a room in their house.
I bet, yeah.
And some painters have larger areas, but then again, you have to have that space so people will want to come in. So that's our limitation, and that's why we have guests, because we want other artists to be able to show their work and talk about their product, and you can't do that at a gallery.
Yeah, and this is all coming up November 21st through the 23rd, 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. each of those days, the Art Studio Tour, and that's the weekend before Thanksgiving, all throughout Rutherford County.
Actually, we will say the Rutherford County area, because we do have we have one person that oozes over into Cannon County. I ooze up to Wilson County, and then we have some people in Bell Buckle. So it's called the Stones River region for that reason.
And, you know, a lot of these artists, they didn't start out with this sole purpose of having an art studio and going into into art. I mean, a lot of them were professionals in other categories for years, and these were hobbies of theirs in some cases.
Exactly. So which leads you to understand that this is something that you can carry on through your life. It's not something, oh, I'm going to do this in college and put it away, or I have to do this as a full-time job. No, you can fill in your time and then evolve into what you want it to be over the years, and it just makes a wonderful purpose.
You know, we hear stories about people retiring earlier and earlier these days, but they're not fully retiring. Instead, they're taking up their hobby and turning that hobby sometimes into a full-time job in some cases.
Yeah, I was a teacher for 30 years. My husband was an engineer, and we retired early and did this full time. And we used to do a whole bunch of craft fairs and all. But again, craft fairs are wonderful, galleries are wonderful, but we really like people to come to our studio and see how it's done. And it gives them a whole appreciation for the product and suggestions that perhaps they can do that themselves someday.
Craft fairs are always interesting to attend, but to be able to walk into the space where these artists are creating different things like pottery. It's neat, it's unique, and it would be fun. Logan, when people walk into your studio, what's the first thing that's going to stand out to them?
When they walk in, when they open the door, they can see everything that I have, that the other people have, without having to walk away from it. Everything is wide open. It's a very large studio. I want to say, too, so people really understand, this is a 3-day event, starting with Friday the 21st and the 22nd and then the 23rd. We'll be open all 3 of those days, and we really enjoy talking. Everybody that comes in seems to know somebody else that's already there or comes in right behind them. We have plenty of room for parking. That's never been an issue. We just enjoy having people that are interested in what we have set out to do.
And Logan, at your place, they get to see your cool tools and your cool equipment.
Yeah, I got one wall that just goes all the way to the ceiling, and these are tall ceilings, really tall ceilings. So I know at some point that's not going to be practical for me to do, but I'm enjoying doing it while I can.
Because you guys are artists, the tool that you may need to do whatever art it is you're going to be doing at different studios, you have to make your own tools. Because all the tools of the trade are not necessarily geared towards sculptures or pottery. In other words, you use creative things sometimes to kind of intermingle with the tools you already have to make whatever project you're working on.
That's true. A lot of the things that I have learned to do, I have been taught by my father, Faulkner Hickerson, who was the person that designed 2 schools here in Murfreesboro, I guess, 30 years ago.
A form of art in itself. I mean, these lines of trade that you're talking about are forms of art in a lot of ways.
That's true.
How large of a crowd are you guys expecting at the tour? I guess some people will go to one stop, but they may not go to the 3rd stop, 4th stop, or so on.
It really depends on the weather somewhat. If it's rainy and cloudy, cold, not as many people will show up, but then some people say, well, that's a great day to be traveling around going to these places. Yeah. It's hard to judge. I can never judge for sure. Because our tour this year seems to be linear, we will have some people, if they start in the south area, that area will be very busy in the morning. Then we'll get it in the afternoon. The people that start in our area will be busy in the morning. It varies, and I can't really tell you. I've never taken a count. I know sometimes it's very, very, very busy and I can't talk to many people. And then sometimes we're sitting around and can take plenty of time to take people out to the kiln building or suggest other things. I wish we could space it out evenly, but that's just not the way people do things.
While I know Logan talked about his father kind of being that one who taught him a lot of those trades and woodworking, Judy, where did you get your ideas, or where did you get the thought of, hey, I'm going to do pottery from?
Well, actually, I dabbled with it some in college. I ended up being an art minor, and I had to take one of all these different classes, and then I took several classes in pottery with Louis Snyder, who many people recognize that name.
Studio S.
Studio
right?
S, yes, sir. He's still in the area, not producing as much anymore. He's working on glaze formulation, but he was a huge impact on me. I did it for a while in college. It's not a easy hobby to deal with, so I didn't do it for about 15 years. Went back to his gallery, his space, where he taught classes, and I took classes with him, met my husband there. And we both took classes for a number of years and just got to the point. I jokingly say, people that make pottery, when you first make it, it's wonderful. You give it away to your friends, you give it away to your family, and then everybody's had pottery, so your house starts sinking into the ground from the weight of the pottery. So you have to do street festivals. And then it just evolved to a full-time thing. For many years, we did a lot of craft fairs. Then we did a lot of wholesale accounts. Now I've slowed down some, and I say, I'm just not going to work that hard. I work every day, but I don't make as much product, and I spend more time on what I do. So it really evolved through my interest in college.
And there's something calming about doing art of any kind, really. I mean, from painting to pottery, there is something about it that does kind of calm you down.
You're expressing something internal that you don't even recognize as it's happening. You're expressing your thoughts and feelings, and it's calming, yes.
How important is it to wherever you do your artwork for that space to be, I guess, an inspiration to you of some sort, or maybe you need something to inspire whatever project you're working on?
The space, not so much for me. Most of my work has a leaf on it in some way, shape, or form. The colors are nature related. So I live out in the country. I like being out in space. Oh, that didn't come out right. I like hiking, being out, walking around. So I take that feeling and I apply it to the design on my leaf.
So a lot of nature there.
A lot of nature involved in mine. Well, then I'm working with clay. Where does that come from? You dig it out of the ground.
Yeah, that's true. And then Logan working with wood, nature again.
That's right.
And structure.
Yeah, that's true.
Architecture definitely comes into what he's doing with the wood.
Very true. It seems like nature kind of has its way in art in general, in a lot of ways. Judy, again, this is all coming up the weekend before Thanksgiving. And for folks listening, of course, it's free to attend and go to the different art studios and everything.
Correct.
Once more, a great place to purchase gifts or things for maybe you're renovating your house and you want to make changes, and you could totally redo that by getting new sculptures and new pottery and woodwork, all kinds of stuff.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry to interrupt what you're saying, but there's one point I really want to make sure I can make. I know teachers are not listening because they're working right now.
They're teaching.
Hopefully. But we do, as an association, the Stones River Craft Association gives out at least one art grant of $500 to a teacher in our area. It doesn't have to be an art teacher, but it must be an art project. We have that information on our website, which is artstudiotour.org, just like you would think. And this is a $500 grant. Because of the generosity of our sponsors that we have sponsoring the studio tour, we will be able to give out 2 grants for this coming school year. The deadline application is December 1st. So anyone interested, and if you are listening and you know someone that might be interested, $500, they have to fill out an application. We will pick from those applications, but this year we will pick 2 teachers for funding for an art project for their class.
How important is art when it comes to schools and school students over the years?
There are so many people, there are so many students that are not visual in that reading may be difficult for them, and the actual ability to make something that they can be proud of is got a lot of value in our educational system. Think about the way a lot of elementary school teachers would organize their groups. They'll put the kids together in a group. One of them will do the artwork. One of them will do the writing. One of them will come up with the ideas and structure. And that person that does the artwork has to absorb all the other information and apply it. So I think art has so much value. It also gives a student who wants an outlet, a physical outlet, to have it, a creative outlet. I think sometimes we don't give enough credit to what that can do for students. We enjoy it as adults.
We need more creative outlets for sure.
Yeah.
As we close this morning, I know we're about out of time. Once more, the Art Studio Tour is coming up November 21st through the 23rd. And to find out more information as far as getting maybe a map to each of the art studios, where do we go?
2 ways. You might get a postcard in the mail this week. It may have already come to you. If you don't get one of those, there is an interactive map on our website, which once again is artstudiotour.org. At the top of the page, there's a link to that map, and it has all the studio locations. And if you click on the information, it will give you Google directions, Google Map directions.
Easy enough. So
yes, sir.
Just get in the car, open it on the phone, and start driving.
There you go.
Again, how many different art studios are open or going to be a part of this year? Because I know you said at some studios you've got guests as well, but how many studios?
We have 6 studios with a total of 19 artists.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
19 artists, man. And again, a lot of those artists that are visitors at other studios, they are there because their studio may be a little bit smaller, not big enough for guests to come, and so forth.
Correct.
But again, this is all coming up November 21st through the 23rd, and you can go to artstudiotour.org to learn more information on it and to get the map for where the studios are located. Did we leave anything out? Did we cover it all?
You've done a good job of covering everything.
It is from 10 to 5.
10 to 5.
10 to 5 all 3 days.
Okay, and that's 10 to 5 all 3 days, November 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Again, artstudiotour.org is where you can gather all the information on this. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Definitely.
Hey, this is Dan with Music World and Drummers Den. Come in for your guitars, keyboards, drums. We have you covered. Lessons, we got that. Drums and every other instrument with strings or keys. Music World and Drummers Den, the one-stop shop where you have everything that you might need. Ukuleles, violins, things that they're not expecting to find just everywhere they go. Come see us at Music World and Drummers Den, 2762 South Church Street, right across from the golf course. Music World and Drummers Den.
Get Old National Bank, that is. Old National Bank has the experience and service you need to buy a home, make investments, even online and mobile banking.
Old National Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Get ready for the Recycled Minute with Tennessee's furriest recycling expert, Rocky the Raccoon, brought to you by RecycleRightTN.com.
Hey guys, it's Rocky the Raccoon with your Recycled Minute, and I'm bottled up with excitement. Before you throw away that Coke bottle or maybe that water bottle, here's an idea. You can turn it into a bird feeder. Cut a hole in the side, stick a couple of spoons in there so that those little birds can perch, and then fill it with bird seed. Then hang it from a tree. And let your feathered friends feast while you enjoy a recycled masterpiece in your yard that you and the kids made. I call them bottle bird feeders. Get ideas on recycling near you by visiting our website, RecycleRightTN.com. Closing it out for us today, the Raccoon Recyclers.
RecycleRightTN.com.